These are 4 car habits I don't understand, but you do you, I guess. This isn't a hate video, it's just a fun video about various quirks and habits other drivers have. I made a video like this for car mods, here's one just for general car habits. Eating in your car. Depending on where you live, this may qualify as distracted driving. However, I'm not talking about eating and driving. I'm just talking about the idea of eating in your car, like even when stationary. This phenomenon is extremely common, at least in America, and I've been surrounded by friends, coworkers, and basically everyone else I know in my life who does this. I, however, literally have never done it, like even once. Even when I stop at gas stations on cross-country road trips, I would rather stand outside my car and eat than to ever eat inside of it. I don't care if Buc-ee's doesn't put seats outside of their establishments, I'm still not using my car as a seat. Instead, I'm gonna freaking stand. Because of this, one thing that has never appealed to me were those like dine in your car establishments like Sonic, Rallies, or so on and so forth. The ones that have like the ordering menus for each dedicated parking spot with like a speaker system, and then when you order something, someone comes out and brings it to you in your car. Yeah, I know some of these locations have a few tables, but every time I drive to those places, people never really use those tables, and usually the employees give you a death stare if you are using one of the tables. So like, I think the whole point of these places is the convenience of eating in your car because they bring it to you, so most people don't want to leave their cars. And again, that might just be like a peak American culture thing to anyone from Europe or really the rest of the world watching. Like, are you guys really that lazy to get out of your car and go to restaurants? And like, yeah, I guess I can't really defend, like, I can't even pretend like that doesn't, like, that's not a phenomenon, because obviously I'm making this video and the fact that there are entire establishments designed around this means that clearly a lot of people do this. Thankfully, I don't really crave food from these places, so it doesn't really affect me for not being able to use them. But even like aside from fast food establishments, just really the concept of eating in my car never caught on with me, and I'm never tempted to do it either. Even on super long road trips, when I get really hungry, I'll always still stop and find a place. At worst, I'll just munch on something real quick, and like I said, I'll stand next to my car. I'm not gonna sit inside of it. And again, 90% of people do it. Most people watching this video probably do it, and you guys probably think I'm weird, which is why it's peak. I guess it's literally just the title of this video, right? This is a certified habit that I don't understand, but you do you, I guess, because literally I'm probably in the minority of people who do not do it. Another thing that's really weird to me is when people leave their car engine on, especially at gas stations, or if they're running in real quick to do something. So I grew up in the countryside. Even in a small town in the Midwest with a population of 1,000 and my graduating class was like only 119 people, no one I knew growing up ever did this. In downtown Atlanta, I've also never seen anyone do this. And to be truthful, if they were to do this, they wouldn't really have a car afterwards because someone for sure is going to steal it. However, in certain places in Texas and Florida, I actually see people do this a lot. Of course, that's just me anecdotally speaking. I don't live in those locations, so maybe I'm like on a heightened sense of awareness when I'm visiting those states. I don't have any statistics to back this up. And just kind of circling back on point, I actually don't care who does this or where they're doing it. I'm actually more confused as to why they're doing it. Like, some people I talk to, they say that whenever they do, like, whenever they're at rest stops or whenever they quickly run inside somewhere, like for example to use the restroom at a gas station, I guess it's more convenient, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care how much Mother Nature is calling, I can take the extra 3 seconds to turn off my car and press the lock button on my keys. This habit just seems to invite a thief to easily break into your car, or even worse, just steal the whole car. Sure, some cars have built-in kill switches where if the car goes far enough away from your key, the engine will cut off, but I'm not about to come back to my car when it's 1,000 feet down the road with a stranger awkwardly booking away from it, because that kind of defeats the whole convenience reasoning when you come back to your car suddenly being way farther than you. Another niche reasoning that I see people justifying this behavior online is that they say like, oh, it's proof that you're in a good neighborhood, so that's why I feel safe doing this, because it's like a sign of trust for I really like my community. But even then, I don't care if I'm surrounded by literal billionaires with 0 crime convictions, I'm still turning off my car and locking it. The third habit of this video is using hazards to park literally anywhere. I know some people who think of hazards as a cheat code to just park anywhere, and the crazy part is it actually works like 95% of the time. Most drivers will obey it and just go around you, and to some extent that's kind of a good thing. To be truthful, it also doesn't bother me much when people do these, because at least the person doing it is communicating to others that, hey, I'm stopped here, you should probably go around me. Because if anything, I'm probably more annoyed when people don't do this. Like for example, if you're at like an airport, a parking lot, or like, you know, some roads, not like a super busy road, but you know what I mean? When people pull off like to the side of the road and do it, or if they're like picking up or dropping their kid off somewhere, like I understand. And I would actually be more annoyed if they didn't put their hazards on, because then again, you would come to a complete stop and you'd be like, well, do I go around? And if you try to go around, if they weren't actually like meaning to stop there, then they start accelerating like, actually it wasn't stopping, and then they try to cut you off, and it's stupid. Where at least when they have their hazards on, you know, like, oh, that guy stopped there, so like, so I can like maneuver around him safely. Because a lot of people, sometimes if it's like a distracted driver who's texting and driving, they'll literally be sitting at a green light just stopped there because they haven't noticed the light turns green, and obviously those people won't have hazards on. So like, but then when you go to try to pass them, suddenly they have like that jealousy instinct kick in where like, you're not gonna pass me, and then they try to speed up to block you. Like, they can't look up from their phone to look at what's ahead, but they'll notice what's next to them whenever someone tries to pass them. Again, it's like the dumbest human ego moment ever, but that's just how some people are. Again, with hazards, you don't really have to worry about that. You're like, oh, this guy stopped, I can just go around him, he'll be fine. He gets to park there for a bit, I get to go around them. It's one of those like weird unspoken rules that we aren't taught in driving school. It's not considered legal, but it's also not considered illegal, just depending on how you use it. It's just something we all accept quietly, and again, if you've driven for any amount of time, you will encounter people who do this. This is one of the habits that I really don't do. If I really have to park somewhere, I will actually try to park somewhere away from an active road or from like an active flow of traffic. So even in a parking lot, obviously you know what I mean by like flow of traffic. Like when you're sitting and not in a parking spot, like when you're sitting in front of like a restaurant or sitting in front of a movie theater, those are lanes of movement. Even though it's not like an active road, so to speak, it's still like a lane of movement or place that traffic flows through. I try never to stop in those locations, but when I see other people do it, it doesn't bug me that much. This is another certified you do you moment. My only like suggestion is obviously don't abuse this power. I think part of the reason we actually respect this superpower, like the ability to just throw hazards on and have people accept where you park, is because most people don't like take advantage of goodwill. 95% of the time I see people do this, it's because they're dropping off someone who's handicapped, or they're just dropping off someone super quickly. If it's on airports especially, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to do this, because everyone I know, again, it might be an unspoken rule where there's nothing that says you can't do it, but there's also nothing that encourages you to do it. But we all understand, like when someone's dropping someone off at the airport, they'll put hazards on, you'll see them open their trunk and take their luggage out, and I'm not bothered by that at all. I'm just like, yeah, you go do your thing. So I just wait like a few seconds. If I can go around them, I will go around them. I just really hope that people don't start abusing this and start AFKing in the middle of the road or in other areas of high traffic. The final habit that is just really weird to me. This one, I don't know if I like, so I don't understand this one, but I don't know if it's like a you do you moment, because you'll see what I mean. It's like varying degrees of just, I like to park my car as far as possible. This is like what most car enthusiasts do. This is not the habit I'm talking about, because this is one I do live by, and I fully understand this one. I do not care how long my walk is. Even if the establishment I'm visiting has a full parking lot, I don't care. I'll park in a different parking lot and I'll walk over. Unless it's shops at Lenox Square, in which case, you guys for writing Lenox Square Mall and Lenox Square Shops in the tiniest font, differentiating between the two, and if you're parked in the wrong one next to the other one, you get booted. Anyways, when I was younger, my mom, she would literally circle a parking lot until she found like a Mercedes, BMW, or other luxury car so she could intentionally park next to them. Mind you, she has a beat up Toyota minivan at the time. And as a kid, I remember her even saying, let me find a nice car to park next to, then we'll head inside. So I'm not misremembering it as like, you know, just a childhood memory. She was intentionally doing it, and she would verbally remind me all the time that she did it. To this day, I never actually understood why she did it. And fun fact, she still does this to this day, where she sees a nice car to parking lot, she'll refuse looking for any other parking spots and choose the one next to it if it has an available spot next to it. Like she's not like a park close to the building type of person. She's not a park far away to the building type of person. She's a I will park whenever I see a nice car type of person. And someone's probably wondering like this, if this is like a Schrodinger cat situation. Like, what if there is no nice car in the parking lot? Does she ever park then? And my answer to that question is I actually don't know, because every single establishment I've been with her since I was a kid, there was always at least like one luxury car in the parking lot for her to do this to. And again, I have no idea why she did it. And she's not the only one to do it, because to this day, whenever I park my Corvette in freaking Narnia, wait, people don't read books these days. I need to make a more Gen Z equivalent joke for that. Whenever I park my car on Skeld in Among Us like a sussy baka, I'm never saying that again, I will still come back to like 3 MFs parked next to me. And it's always some clapped out minivan or SUV too. So sometimes, like 5% of the times, it's another car enthusiast, which in case their they're back there with me for the same reason I'm there, because we don't want to get our door dinged. Whereas like car guys, we trust each other. We're like, yeah, we're not going to ding each other's doors because we have incentive not to, because they have a nice car, I have a nice car. We don't want to hurt either of our nice cars. So sometimes car guys like congregate near each other, and I'm totally okay with that. Also, sometimes they just do it for photos. It's funny. I used to do it a lot when I was like new to cars, but the other 95% of the time, it is always just some random beat up car, like the worst car ever, that is out there with you. And for all I know, maybe some of it is pettiness, because like I don't think my mom did it for pettiness. She just admired good cars. And like the crazy part is I know other relatives in my family who also had a similar logic, but I remember one of them, like my aunt, for example, she will actually say her reasoning for doing it, which is it like brings good luck. She's like, they're a successful person, so if you park next to a successful person, it like rubs off on you. I don't know, that's like the dumbest whatever whatever works for her, I guess. Really just reminds you of like when you go to a restroom and literally it's like, especially mall restrooms, when there are like 25 different urinals and you have that one guy who goes out of his way to literally go right next to you. Not even like the homie move of like leave one in between, especially when you have like 25 as your option. They literally go right next to you. Anyways, that's it for this video. Apologies for the lack of long-form content lately. I've been really busy working on another YouTube project that will hopefully launch late spring, like April or May. If you love automotive content, make sure to subscribe and check out my other stuff. Share this with your pet sea lion, and I'll see you next time. Blade Angel out.